What's up, everybody? This is Marshall Couture, also known as Plex of MarshMakesArt.com and DonkeyJawProjects.com. 2 URLs, 1 site. I keep saying them though because I want people to recognize those titles. Donkey Jaw Projects. It's like kind of 2 brands, but they're the same. But kind of 2 different approaches or 2 different branches or something. I don't know. But anyways, so there's that. And how you guys doing? I'm doing okay. I wanted to record, or I should say I forgot, to make a podcast last week for this week. So, hopefully I can record this and get it out. Unfortunately, it is while I'm driving, but I'm in traffic, so hopefully the sounds aren't too loud, and I might have to pause this and continue at some point. Blah, 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 blah. But, today I just wanted to talk about kind of being sideswiped by life, and how that happens for people. And, man, it's happened for me plenty of times, and kind of this whole year has been like that for me. I've been going through depression and anxiety and just issues, that have been debilitating to the point where I was, it kind of happened right after I took on a second job. So it was like, man, I was working, like 12 hours, 15 hours, however long it was, a day. And I don't even know how I got up out of bed, because I was so just feeling sick, and I lost weight, and I was not doing good psychologically. Just pushing through, doing what I had to do, though, because, what can you do? If you feel like crap, you still got to do the things you got to do. But it stopped me from doing art. My goal was to do a half an hour a day, every day, of something creative, right at the beginning of the year, every single day. It wasn't 100 days of making comics at that point, but it started out as me just trying to learn guitar, and then that kind of ended, and I was starting to get back into doing comics, and then that's when I got the anxiety stuff hitting really hard, and so I kind of freaked out for like a month or 2 and didn't really do anything, and besides just my responsibilities. And luckily, I shouldn't say luckily, but with the help of doing some soul searching, a lot of prayer, and meditation on the scriptures, and just talking to people and figuring out some kind of psychological strategies, and also moving forward with creativity, all that has played a part in helping me to kind of dig myself out of a hole. Like, literally, it kind of felt like I was buried 6 feet under, and I had to like scrape my way to the top, type of thing. And it's tough, and sometimes I get kind of re-hit by it and have to kind of dig my way out again. But now I kind of have a little bit more tools to do it, and the hits don't go so deep, maybe. So, kind of one of my big strategies is to kind of just keep pushing on, keep pushing forward, and the creative projects are part of that. And so, I was kind of going through it again this weekend, and I think that's part of why I forgot about the podcast. But I feel a little better, and, or I should say last week. The weekend is when I kind of dug out a little bit, but I ended up focusing on other things than art, and my comic and all that, even though I did do my half an hour each day, but it was like almost barely doing it. I think I kind of needed to take a minute to do some other things. Plus, there's this piece of art that I want to get done, but I wanted to record it on video, and I was having a hard time doing that. So I was like, well, let me research, how I can get a better overhead setup so I can record these things a little easier. And so I figured that out, but then, now it's something I have to create, which I already kind of mostly created. I'm waiting for some parts to come in, to finish it up. There's an accident over here. That sucks. Looks like everybody's hopefully okay, but it's part of why we got traffic. But anyways, so, and also the piece that I was working on, I mean, luckily I wasn't very far along on it anyways, but, like, at some point, like, some barbecue chip crumbs got on it, and, like, that caused, like, an oil spot. And, then, like, I just spilled water all over it, which would be kind of okay, because it is watercolor paper that I was using. I think it was, at least. Maybe it wasn't, now that I think about it, because this piece, I don't know. Anyways, I have to redo it, which is fine, because I didn't get that far anyways, but it's just, like, another setback or whatever. So, hopefully I can start back up on that. And I really want to video it, but at this point I want to get it done, because it's for somebody and it is a little time sensitive. I want to get it done, so if for whatever reason I'm not able to get the video stuff together, I'm just going to do it. And, as much as I want to video, like, everything I do with art and put it out there, I have 2 jobs, and I have limited time, blah, 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 blah. So, we shall see. I also want to, and another thing is I've been trying to do this vlog, and I've been, I was recording a lot of stuff, just kind of leading up to, finishing a vlog, and I already put most of it together, but how I wanted to end it was I want to do some video of me cleaning the studio, and also of me putting this overhead thing together, because I talked about it, in the vlog, and, so I want to show the finished thing, so I'm kind of waiting until I get the pieces so I can put this overhead setup together, and then show a video about that, and maybe end it with some art making or something, So, there's that. So that vlog hopefully will be up soon, and that's like throughout a couple weeks, or now it's like 3 weeks. It's going to take way longer than I expected, just because I want to end it a certain way, so whatever, it's fine. Kind of a Gazbot style vlog, or Holly Brown or something like that. If you don't know, Holly Brown is one of the new 100 Days of Making Comics people, and she does like a weekly vlog, like I said, kind of like Gazbot, where she just kind of clips together a bunch of pieces of her week, of doing art, and all of the things she does, and really awesome. I love her stuff. And unlike a lot of us who are like very, I don't want to say PC, politically correct or whatever, but like, we try to like kind of not show some of the more negative things, a lot of us, or if we do, it's like just a small part. And I'm not saying she's negative at all, but she's not afraid to say exactly what she's thinking about whatever situation, and it's actually kind of refreshing, not that I'll start, being like that, just because I have a certain approach, and I like my approach. I'm being me, when I do my thing, and I do put a lot out there, and I am very honest, and I think I come off authentic. I'm not trying to be authentic, I'm just being me, and that should come off authentic, because if I'm being me, that's what authentic means. So anyways, but there's, I guess, some things I try to hold back. I just don't want to be super negative, so I try not to be. And like I said, I'm not saying she's negative. She just tells it like it is. And a lot of times she's very positive, and I love her viewpoint. It's a little bit different than a lot of us who have been involved in this community, and it's, like I said, it's refreshing, and so I dig that. And I also am very inspired by how much she puts out. She just produces like no other, like she's putting together a comic, a sketchbook. She's got all kinds of Etsy products. She's, working on animations, and she's producing, and she's also going to school online, and I love it. It's so inspirational. After I watch one of her videos, I'm like, I gotta make more things, because I'm like, it's so awesome. Like, I love it. So anyways, yeah, Holly Brown, check her out. On YouTube, it's HC Brown, or Holly Brown. I think she'll probably come up if you put either of those things in. Yeah, she actually just interviewed Scott Serkland. She started up this podcast too. So check that out. It's just called Art Chat, which is really cool. It's simple, maybe a little generic, but I don't mind that. I like that. It's a great title. So yeah. Being sideswiped by this stuff and by crazy stuff in my life, and man, I don't know how much I don't think I got into it yet, because I actually started recording one and something happened, so I had to stop it, so I kind of re-recording things. But I've been noticing, actually Kenny Keene just came out with a video, and I've just been noticing so many of my art buddies online and just even in real life, man, are just getting hit hard with life things, breakups, divorces, just crazy stuff, and just stuff that is totally changing people's lives 100%. And it's the heartbreak, and oh man, I hate to see my friends getting hurt and having to deal with these kind of things, and I'm dealing with my own stuff too, I got my psychological stuff, but, also, my wife is in pain all the time, she's debilitated because of it. She can't work, she can't drive, she can't a lot of times even get out of bed, and, she just, it sucks for her. I hate that she has to go through this, and, and I have to do a lot of things too to, take care of her, and I'm happy to do it, and we're both in it for the long haul. We're serious when we set our vows, through sick or, through rich or poor, sick or healthy, or however that goes, the idea of it, we both are 100%, we're doing this to the death, and she's had to deal with plenty of my craziness and stuff, and and you might not think it, but I've put her through some stuff, so, and she's 100% down, and man, she's awesome, and I don't know what I'd do without her, and we just take care of each other, and sometimes, not everything's perfect. We have our fights and whatever, just like anybody. We go through a lot of stuff that could even end relationships, but we're sticking to it, and I'm not saying crazy stuff like cheating on each other or just that crazy stuff, but we have gone through the typical, relationship stuff, and sometimes to an extent where I'm almost surprised we're still together, but there's never been a question. Like, we never used the D word, the dirty D word, and we never will, you know. We just both know we're in it for the long haul, so it's like, that's not even ever a worry. But, you know, we go through stuff, and it's been plenty hard, you know. So there's circumstance and there's psychological things. You know, how do you get through all that stuff, you know? I don't know. I mean, I do know. For me and my wife, it's a lot of prayer. It's a lot of, you know, talking to other people, you know, at church and just friends and things like that, and being, you know, getting closer with each other, and you know, and also, like, for her, she likes to do like makeup vlogs and makeup videos, and that helps her in having, you know, she's built up some friends online as well, and so that kind of helps since she can't really get out of the house too much. You know, family is a big part of our lives. Man, if it wasn't for our family takes care of us, man. And sometimes, you know, in the past, there's been a lot of times where we're like, where is our family? Why, you know, they don't see that we're having a hard time, you know, but that's kind of changed. And also, I think I've grown to realize that, you know, I was wrong about that. You know, a lot of people do support us. Man, the help that we've gotten I'm so thankful for that, you know. And, you know, there's a lot of things, you know, that help us get through, but also, like, for me, a big part is, you know, pushing forward with creativity. And I've gone through an evolution of that, you know. I kind of, sometimes that was what got me through a lot, but, you know, I had aspirations that I was going to make a living doing this, and, you know, and I still do, but now it's more like I'm just going to do what I love, and if the money follows, great. If not, I'm good with that too. So I even got to a point, you know, where it's like, why do I even do this art stuff? Like, who cares? Like, I'm not going to make a living doing it. I should just stop. And I kind of did stop in some ways. And I got to a point where I didn't even care anymore, you know. And this is kind of within the last couple of years. I let myself get a little bitter about it. And now I'm kind of coming back around where it's like, you know, that whole thing, if you build it, they will come. Well, I'm going to build it, and if they come or not, I'm just going to keep building it, you know, just because it helps me. It's therapeutic, and I just believe in pushing forward and trying to let go of the past things that are negative, you know, and even present stuff, you know, just keep pushing forward with what's good, and, you know, trusting God, you know, that He's going to work things out. That's a big part of my life. And, you know, just pushing forward, you know. It's tough, but, and, man, like, all my buddies, you know, like I said, Kenny Keene, he just put out a video, and holy crap, the stuff that he's had to go through, and the reason why he hasn't been around, he just got dealt some, you know, proverbial deadly blows, you know. You know, lost his, I don't know if he was married or his girlfriend or what, but, you know, broke up and, you know, lost his job and this and that. And I mean, you can watch the video. He says all about it in the new video on YouTube. Check Kenny Keene's video out. But he's back on the horse. He's like, you know, I love making art, and I love seeing people's faces when I make art for them and things like that. And same thing, you know, he's reevaluating things and pushing forward. You know, Kevin Cross has been a huge inspiration, you know, with what he's been going through. Man, life is throwing him some stuff, and he's pushing forward. You know, I can't tell you how inspirational that is, you know. And when I see. And, people might argue for, don't let that stuff out there, keep your problems to yourself and, just talk about the good stuff or talk about art. No, screw that. That is the type of stuff that helps me realize that, we're all going through it, and you get support that way. You can help other people that way, and I don't know. I think it's a good thing, we all are in this together, in one way or another. And we can all take care of each other a little bit, even if it's just a word of encouragement or, throw a couple bucks when you're doing all right the other person's way and buy one of their things, or, whatever you can do, lend a ear, It is it's whatever it is, and I have a buddy who is in real life and in internet, and he's been going through another one who's just been kicked to the curb. Well, hit with some really devastating blows, and it sucks. Like, he's like one of my best friends, if not my best friend, and just I can't. It's crazy how many people within, I don't know, the last 5 years or whatever, but even just recently, have been just hit with these blows. I mean, Jan from, YouTube, Yanimal. I mean, he just went through some crazy stuff. He's still going through it, I guess. So. And it's like a lot of people are in this rebuilding mode, and just trying to push forward. And I just, that's pretty much all with this podcast I wanted to say, is keep going, keep pushing forward. There's a scripture that I'm holding on to, where Paul talks about, I push on forward to the high calling, and, basically let the things behind me fall behind me, just keep pushing forward. And, that's kind of stuff I'm holding on to, and holding on to the good things, noticing the good things, being thankful for the good things, and, kind of having a smile on your face and pushing forward despite what's going on, and despite the present circumstances. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else I have to say about that. I guess I'll talk a little bit about something else that's where I'm pushing forward. Even if you, and this is maybe a good piece of advice, even if you can't push forward with your project, maybe just push forward with your sketchbook. Maybe just push forward with getting in some learning, or whatever. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to even do that. Sometimes you just need to kind of put things down and work on life things, Sometimes that's how it is. But if you can work on art, and maybe that'll help, and like right now, one of the things I'm doing is I canceled my subscription to Audible, and I started a subscription because it's about the same price for Jake Parker and Will Terry and all them. They're I don't know, I guess it's online school, SVS. And, so now I'm doing that, and, it's awesome. I've gone through 3 video course series so far, and, actually I'm going to have to pause it. I'll talk a little bit more about that. Alright, so, I'm back, and on the move. So yeah, there's just, doing that, the whole Jake Parker, SVC stuff, and man, guys and gals, I think, I can't say enough about this. thing, you know, like and the only issue I'm having is I haven't had a chance to practice any of it because I'm too busy working 2 jobs and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I've taken, when I say taking 3 courses, it's basically you sign up, it's like $15 a month. I mean, with all the content there, who can beat that? And, you know, they do have live classes that you can participate in, but you get access to everything, the whole everything. For $15 a month, that's like, sign me up. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, I gotta make this happen, and even if I have to cancel my Audible to do it, I'm doing it. Which, to be honest, I probably don't have to cancel my Audible, but it made me feel better to switch one and go to the other, and I don't know. You know, always trying to keep a watch on expenses. But they both serve a similar purpose. I do the Audible so I can learn things to help me do what I want to do. And, you know, I've gotten enough books on that there and learned a ton. And, you know, I'll probably go back if I get through all this stuff and I'm good. I don't know. Because you can cancel at any time and all that stuff. But, you know, this is more specific to what I am trying to learn and do. You know, it all has to do with illustration and comic books. I mean, it's just great. So, like I said, the courses I've taken, what that basically means is, you know, just there's, you know, somewhere from 2 to 3 hours worth of video for at least the ones I've checked out so far. So, and then there is like worksheets and things where it's, I guess it's homework, but it's, you know, I guess optional. I do want to do them, and plan to. To me, it's just exercises to learn and practice what I've learned, by listening and watching these videos. And, yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, like, if I am not making some crazy level up improvements in my art, you know, within the next few months, then there's something wrong with me, because the stuff I've learned already, I can already see how it's going to hugely impact what I've been doing, you know, hugely, like exponentially. Like, people might want to actually give me money for what I'm doing. But I don't, like, now I don't even care about that. I just want to be a better artist. And, you know, I'm not focusing on any of the business aspects anymore. I'm just making what I love. And if the money follows, it does. If the fans and friends follow, they do. If they don't, then they don't. And to me, it's part of my purpose. Like, I do believe in purpose. I believe, you know, and I don't mean in like fortune cookie, like crazy, like I am the one sent down from God to, you know, create for all of humankind to be changed forever, you know. Although, you know, not, you know, I don't believe that, but I do believe, like, that this is kind of my thing in life, you know, and this is what I have the propensity to do, and I believe there is a spiritual aspect to that, you know, but I'm just going to be another one of the people doing that, and another one of the people who were meant to do that, you know, just like all of you, to me, in my opinion, you know, I think there is some providence involved. But, you know, that's how I look at life. Everybody looks at life differently. I'm certainly not judging anybody. I can see the reasons why people would not believe in the stuff I believe in, and, you know, it is what it is. Although I do really think there's a value, obviously, because I wouldn't believe it if I didn't believe it, through and through. So, and I have it's not just, blind faith, blah, blah, blah. There is reason to it. There's a lot of reason to it. That's one of the fallacies, that people think there's no reason to faith, but it all works together, There's reason, there's faith, there's spiritual, there's physical, and it's all big tapestry. So, anyways, that being said, oh man, I'm just loving these courses right now. I took the how to draw machines and mechanical things. However, I don't know what the exact title is, but basically Jake Parker's class course on drawing robots. And oh man, I learned, I love it. I can't tell you how much, because I've tried to figure it out, and I'm not good at. I'm not really good at the mechs yet, but now I feel like I have the tools. I know I have knowledge. I understand it now, and now it's just putting that understanding into practice and getting to a point where I can function with it, in an interesting way. And I have a story about robots. I've already had one for a while, but I've always said, maybe I should get somebody else to draw it, because I don't know how to draw robots very good. Now I'm learning how. There was another course by, I don't remember the guy's name. Sorry, I hate that I don't remember the guy's name, but it's another groundbreaking course teaching me a whole new way to think about drawing from reference, basically. And it's, I've heard this technique before, but I've never dug very deep into it. And now I have. So I can't wait to practice those things. There's another one that I did by Jake Parker again, how to draw just about everything, and he approaches it a different way, and he approaches it more from drawing from your imagination as opposed to from reference. So it's now I have those two things to work on, because those two modes have been tricky for me. How I can do reference, but it's a whole different thing than drawing from imagination, and I can do both, but I feel like I need more techniques to be able to oscillate between the two. So, sorry, I'm just trying to navigate a little bit here. So, I'm really excited just about what I've learned so far. If all I learned is what I learned from these 3 courses, it's worth the $14 a month for many months. But now I'm gonna try my best to. I have a tickle in my throat. Hard to talk when I have a tickle in my throat. I'm gonna try my hardest not to take any more courses, and it's tempting because I have plenty of time to listen to stuff and whatnot. So even though it's work time, it's time, But I'm gonna try my best to just not take any more courses until I've put some time in doing some of the workshop parts of it and practicing, because I want to actually learn this stuff. I don't want to learn it in theory, learn the theory of it and then just feel like I've learned it. I want to actually learn it, I want to put it into practice, and I want to level up with my art. So yeah, that's another way you can maybe push forward without, if you're not ready to jump on your own project. But this whole half an hour a day, even if you're not doing the 100 days of making comics, I mean, that thing has helped me, you know. It's like I made a commitment, and I really want to stick to this commitment. And to me, I feel like if I don't feel passionate about it, I feel like at least it's my job. Like, I feel like I kind of have to. So it's like it's my excuse to work on creative things, you know, at least a little bit today, even though I feel like crap and I feel like worthless, and I feel, you know, when I go through those depressing anxiety days, when life is throwing crap at me, you know, and I just, you know, can't seem to see the forest for the trees or whatever, you know, I guess that's not what I should have said. Like, I can't seem to see my way out, and I'm getting overwhelmed and things like that. So, you know, I at least do that half hour. And because I've at least done that half an hour, even through those hard days, now when I'm coming out of it, I didn't just let everything go, and now I don't feel like I just given everything up and I'm in limbo again, and you know, that's when I get into that part of, do I continue doing the 100 days of comics even though I missed a few days, or do I, you know, start something else, you know, and then I don't ever get anything done and then stop being productive, and that can throw me for months, you know, sometimes, or weeks, or days at least. And I've done that way too many times. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to make progress, you know, even despite whatever crap I'm going through. So that would be my encouragement, you know, spend a little time every day, no matter what. And, you know, obviously there's certain circumstances where you can't, where you just got to be like, I got to focus on life right now. And hopefully I can get back to that, you know, at some point. I know people who are doing that right now. But, you know, when you're ready, you know, push forward somehow. Even if you're just filling sketchbooks to get better, you know, do that. Or even if you're just spending a half an hour every day, do that, you know. And let that help you out of your muck too, you know. It helps, you know, it really helps. Just getting things going, whether you feel like it or not, really helps. I feel like I had more things I wanted to say, I think just on a different topic a little bit. But yeah, I'm looking forward to just, another thing, just kind of a little response, and I'll probably talk about it in my 100 Days of Making Comics today when I do my video. But Mike Emmerich, who's also doing 100 Days of Making Comics, check him out on YouTube. His stuff is awesome. I'm loving all his artwork he's doing right now. And, you know, he's working on comics, and he's working on his, you know, the stuff he has to do for his work. And, but even just the little, you know, he's been doing little square pieces of illustration and coloring them, and they've been looking awesome. Like, I love it. I can't wait to see more. Every single time I see something, I'm just like, yes, this is awesome. You know, he was talking about fan art on one of his recent videos, and how his relationship with fan art his whole life has been, no, I'm not doing fan art. I don't do fan art. I do original stuff, you know. And I'm kind of putting words in his mouth, I guess, but, you know, check out his video to see what he actually said. Yeah, like, that was kind of his position, you know, more or less, for most of his life, and that's pretty much been my position too. I never felt like I wanted to do other people's creations. I wanted to make my own creations, and I kind of felt weird if I was drawing other people's stuff sometimes, you know. But now you know, in the last, 5 or so years, I've done more of it, because I've realized that, to me, doing fan art is the same as doing like a cover songs when you're a new band, you know, and you do some cover songs and then you throw out an original, and do some cover songs, throw out an original, and people start to like your stuff, and it's just a way to get your foot in the door. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It is copyrighted material, but it's also like cover songs. You can get like, you can pay for like a license or something to do that, and the same thing with fan art. But it's one of those things. I don't want to get into fan art, that aspect of fan art. But I think it's an okay way to kind of get your people to see your stuff and stuff. But so for me, it's been, if anything, the reason why I do it is for promotion and stuff. But I do enjoy it too, and it is fun to play around with stuff you like. But for the most part, I've been doing stuff that I think is going to be popular, that I do like, but is not necessarily my favorite things. But I try to pick stuff that I really dig, but, part of the consideration is this something people will be into or not, because this is more for promotional reasons. But now, again, like, I'm not focusing on the business aspect anymore. I'll set up kind of the business stuff and then just kind of move forward with my passion, which is my art, and let the chips fall where they may. He was talking about how he approaches fan art and almost like it's a spiritual thing, and I get what he's saying. There's kind of a couple different ways people talk about spiritual things. And I think there's kind of a more general thing that almost even an atheist could talk about, where it's like, it has more to do with the subconscious. And I mean, of course, when you get into spiritual things, lines get blurred and all that. But there's certain things that are substantial in a certain way and things that are substantial in a different way. And to me, like, there is, like, because people talk about, like, the spirit of the law, Sometimes you might, like, technically break the law, but you're actually upholding the spirit of the law, and we're talking about little things, obviously. And I can't think of a specific example, but, well, yeah, I guess I can, the speed limit, for instance. It's weird, it's like, that's the speed limit. 65 in Connecticut is the speed limit. So you shouldn't drive any faster than 65. The truth is, if you drive 65, you're a lot of times you're driving way slower than the rest of traffic. At least 5 miles or more slower than the rest of traffic. You can get pulled over. Technically, you can actually get pulled over, and even maybe gotten a ticket for driving this below the speed limit. Because another rule, and I don't know if this is a law or if it's an unwritten rule, but another rule is you need to go with the flow of traffic, because it's dangerous if you're going too slow. Supposedly that's the speed limit, but that's like the speed norm. A speed limit is actually a speed norm, for the most part. It's like you're supposed to hover around 65. That's more the spirit of the law, and you're not going to get pulled over for going 70, because you're probably still sometimes going slower than traffic, But then, it gets wishy-washy, how fast can you go or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So that's what I just mean by, the spirit of the law. Like, that's another way of thinking about spirit. And I think with the fan art thing, that's a little closer, I think maybe there's even more spiritual thing to it, but he was saying something about like a spiritual thing to it. And I think there is, and I haven't analyzed that to understand what that means. But there is like something, it's like you're taking something from that you really love and you're celebrating it, is kind of one way he put it. And that's like, it's almost like giving thanks to the person who created it, because you inspired me and you are awesome and your thing that you created is awesome. And I don't know, like there's like a, and I don't know, you don't have to call it spirit, you can call it something else, or spiritual, you can call it something else if you're uncomfortable with that, you know. But I can see that, like, it's something more within the realm of emotion than it is in the realm of just the mind. Does that make sense, you know? So, that being said, I think there is a different approach that that's not been the center of how I've approached fan art. The center of how I've approached fan art is, that part is in there, but the center is, you know, can this help get people to know about my stuff and maybe make a little money, you know, because of it. But I'm not going to approach it that way anymore. And that means I'm going to do fan art of things that maybe people aren't so into, you know. I'm going to do my things that I really like. You know, I was doing that before, but I was going with the more popular things I really like, you know, like drawing Kylo Ren or drawing, you know, Yoda, or, you know, just stuff. I mean, I still end up just doing stuff I like. You know, I did do fan art of Kung Fury characters. I did a bunch of that. You know, that's an indie thing. It's not going to get a lot of views because, you know, even that movie only has like a cult following, which is awesome, I think. But, you know, it's not the same as if I draw Deadpool, which I did do that too. But I can, you know, verify that you know, Deadpool actually is way within the realm of something I would do, because my first comic that really got me into comics was X-Force #1, and that's, you know, from the late New Mutants to the early X-Force ones when Rob Liefeld was doing his thing over there. That's where Deadpool came out of. And so that is totally in the realm of stuff. In fact, after watching Mike's video, I was like, I'm going to do X-Force fan art. Nobody does X-Force fan art besides Deadpool, Cable, and I think that's it. I'm going to do them all. maybe, I don't know. I might do them all, I might not. And I think I might start trying to complete my collection of New Mutants. Like, literally, I'm going to try to get all of the New Mutants, you know, the whole run, because I think it only went up to 100, and so that's a kind of a doable thing. And there's so many awesome, amazing creators who contributed to New Mutants, and I want to dig into it, and it's a fun book, and I think it'll be fun little hobby of mine to start collecting those. And even to the point of getting some of the more expensive first appearances and stuff. I mean, if it's too expensive, I'll just get a fake copy or like a third printing or whatever. I'm cool with that. I mean, even I'm not trying to collect it for value's sake. I'm trying to collect it for my personal interest sake, of just reading the comic and having a copy of it. So, I don't know. I mean, that is right at the core and right at the beginnings of where I first got this passion. And I think it would be fun to explore that. I think it would be fun to explore why I grew up and why Rob Liefeld's art, even as much as people hate it, you know, why it appealed to me and why it caused me to... It was the impetus of me getting into all this stuff. And I'll probably do some, like, Youngblood fan art and stuff like that, too. I dig all that. I still dig it. I don't care. I mean, the story sucked. I'll admit that. The drawings, in some ways, sucked, you know. But at the same time, they didn't suck, because to me, I liked them, and I'd still like them, you know. There's something about the way Rob Liefeld puts down lines that is appealing, and it's obvious because it still works. He's still, people buy the stuff his artwork is when his artwork is on the cover. There's something to it, whether you like it, or not, and I agree. The anatomy's all screwed up. The stuff is unrealistic. His tech is like ridiculous. But I kind of like it's like Kirby tech. Kirby tech doesn't make any sense, but I love it. It's so fun. And same with Rob's. So anyways, I'm not trying to be an apologist for Rob. He's done plenty to besmirch his own name. Even to the point of just kind of being an arrogant, annoying person sometimes. But at the same time, he's been a very passionate, interesting person for me. So that, like, to me, that it's like I kind of forgive the parts that are annoying. I guess. It is what it is. We're fans of what we're fans of. So, but how popular is that? Well, in the community that I'm talking to right now, and in the art, a lot of artists, well, you guys probably won't like it. But I'm doing it for me. So, like I said, it's a spiritual thing, and I think I can learn from that, do my own version of it with better anatomy maybe, or, not that I'm all that great at anatomy either, but, kind of put my own take on it, and also learn what it is that caused me to like those things. Why is that? Does that appeal to me? I mean, what is it? And I think examining good art, good writing is valuable, and examining bad art and bad writing is also sometimes even more valuable, in some ways. And always pushing to be a better artist and writer yourself is always my intention and desire. So yeah, there's that. So fan art, I'm going to start messing around with that. I also have a series of I'm going to do my top 10 favorite MCs, and so I'm going to be working on that. And got a lot of other things that I think are going to be fun that I'm going to do on YouTube, and also just art that I'm going to make, and hopefully other people will dig it. And people who do, there is a lot of people who do dig Rob Liefeld's stuff, and still to this day. So excuse me, so rude. He is one of those artists who, a lot of people love and a lot of people hate. So, hopefully I don't get the hate and I only get some of the love. But we'll see. Who cares? I'm going to do me, So, I guess that's it. I am going to do more fan art just for fun, just for the love. But I'm also going to be doing, I'm doing my own comic, and I'm really happy with the progress with that. I should say, I really wish I was making more progress with it. I want to go faster, but I'm kind of right at the pace that I expected. When I evaluated it realistically. So, I'm writing these stories. I'm on the 7th story. I'm about to probably close that story up today. At least, the rough draft version of the writing. And I'll move on to story number 8. Keep knocking them down till I get to 12, and then do another pass over the writing. And at some point get to the point where I've got a pretty full script, meaning everything's mapped out across the amount of pages it's going to be. 5 pages, hopefully 5 pages more or less for each story. And there probably will be like a beginning and an end part that will kind of encompass all 12 stories. So, in some ways it's almost like it's going to be 13 or 14 stories, but kind of the 12th story is the overall thing that touches throughout the book, the stories. So I'm happy with that. I did a little concept art, but I'm trying to mostly stick to writing. When I have bad days, I end up doing, concept art for Attack of the Lizard Brain, because that's like kind of easier, something I can just play around with, because there's a lot of creatures, a lot of monster type creatures in that, so I have to just, create them. And yeah, so that's it, I guess. There's probably other updates, but I can get into it another time, and this is probably at this point going long. So yeah, one thing I'm really excited about is now that I've recorded this, I can shoot it right to YouTube right away, and I'll put it privately, but through this app I found out I can upload it straight to YouTube, so that's really cool. And what's this app called? It's got like a generic name, voice recorder or something. I don't want to jump out of it and jump back in because I'm afraid it'll stop recording. But yeah, that's about it, guys and gals. I really appreciate you listening. You guys rock. MarshMakesArt.com, DrJawProjects.com, that's where you can find me. All the social media stuff is me at MarshMakesArt. If you feel like throwing a tip my way monthly, patreon.com/MarshMakesArt. If you feel like buying any of my stuff, storenvy.com, MarshMakesArt. Or just, you can go to the site, click on shop. But again, I'm mentioning it, letting you know as a service, because if you do dig my stuff and feel like, oh man, I really kind of want to get some of his art or get a print from him or something, I make it available, and it helps make this thing more sustainable. And, I do have goals. I want to, get some more equipment, and stuff that'll help me do all this stuff easier and better, and maybe eventually make a living. But that's secondary. First of all is the art. So, yeah. But if you're going through it, if you're going through struggles, man, I totally understand. I sympathize, I empathize. I know what it's like. I'm going through it too. You're not alone. Hit me up if you ever need some prayer, or like if you believe in that, or if you just need an ear. I'm not the type of, believer or whatever in God who's gonna try to hit you over the head with scripture or anything. I'm happy to just be there, be an ear, and be an understanding friend. That's all. I'm actually just more comfortable doing that than anything. So,